Okay. Whew, I just got that notification in my nerves.
Did you see it? We're live.
I'm nervous. I was okay. Then I seen that meeting is now streaming live on YouTube, and it's like,
we are live.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone. People are just probably getting in, but sorry, everybody, for being late. The devil tried to steal our joy on a Sunday,
but he can't.
This has never happened. I go to Charnel's house to give good Wi-Fi. So I don't know why I couldn't hear it on my computer. So hopefully we can let people come in. Let me look to see if it's up now.
Okay.
Also, Jade, I hear an echo. There we go. But I can still hear you, so that's all that matters. This has never happened. I'm so annoyed.
It's okay.
It is. You're right.
I didn't realize it sends you a notification.
That we live? We live, baby. Thanks for everyone for staying on. We're on versus time. You know how they usually start at 8:10.
Right.
This is where we are.
8:30, they still trying to get tech issues. It's okay.
Trying to get the technicians. So we appreciate y'all for sticking on, refreshing the channel to see if y'all missed the live. But we are here, and I am excited. Jade, we didn't get to do even like a how are you, but how are you doing right now?
I'm good. I'm just managing, really. Kind of tired. That's like my new normal, is pushing through the tiredness and just making it the best situation I can. But I'm good. How have you been?
I'm good. I also was gonna say that sis, sometimes your text messaging skills be a little slow.
I know. You see, I've turned into one of them people now.
And that's fine, right? I just know we got to get things done in an orderly fashion. And then when I have your attention, I need to have
it. Right. Yes. It's like, because I'll be trying to text and then Kai's just looking, or he's like, and I got to hold him with two hands because he like a specific way to be rocked to sleep. So
listen, baby boy know what he wants.
Right. For real. He does.
So thank you all for joining. Sorry about our delay. Oh, I'm actually annoyed. But we're here with our second authentic Black mama, Jade. And it's crazy that we're almost done with the series, honestly. But I wanted to say that this space was created to celebrate Black mamas and the joys, the pain, the love, and overall the what of what it means to be authentic on their journey, not only in motherhood, but womanhood. And so if you are not following Jade, you need to follow her Instagram. On her stories, she is very candid about her thoughts. And so we always laugh because when I get on Instagram, I try to see what people are doing and read. And so I read hers. And so it's literally like a story. So I was excited to have her on here to talk about, being a new mom, especially doing COVID and what that looks like for her. And it's good to be in this space because we are always reminiscing about Houston and our life there. And so now it's like, Jade is a mama now. Like,
I know, right?
we talk about that. Like,
went from like looking for my shades before we got in the Uber to go to the day party to looking for a pacifier every 5 minutes, right?
Life is full of turns and toss and beautifulness, and I love it because I remember, Jay, I'll never forget when you first told me and me really trying to figure out like what is a reveal, right? Like an Instagram reveal, because you couldn't have the reveal like in person and showing, that you were pregnant. And so I was really trying to think of that thing and I could not.
No, it's so hard. And I feel like it's so many creative people that's doing all kind of stuff. So I was like, where do I fit in with all of this?
I
Trying to
think it
come
was
up with
beautiful.
ideas. I had Alex working on ideas too. So
It was beautiful. And shout out to Alex. She's probably on. She reposted. I think that's the beauty in social media that, you know, the more people repost and the more people, you know, show support, the more people will be like, oh, I want to watch this. Like maybe I'm pregnant right now, or I'm thinking about having a baby. So I would love to hear about her delivery story.
yes.
But let's get started. So if you are not following the True Project on Instagram, you should follow it. But I wanted to really quick talk about Jade's mama bio. That's what I call it, the flyer. And I loved her words in it. Like legit loved it. She was like, I don't know if this is good, but this is perfect. So Jade in this space, this authentic mama is embracing the blessings of brand new motherhood during COVID-19 with patience, joy, and resiliency. Trying to talk too fast. So I wanted you to talk really quick before we get into your delivery and, you know, being in hospitals, Black women, and, you know, the stats we know about that. What was your mama journey like? Or just like finding out, just all of it, right?
Yes. I think in the beginning it was like unreal because again, like I said, I was living a life that was just like free and, you know, a baby, you know, wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah.
And so, and I've always said that I'm very in tune with my body. So like I knew that something was like kind of different, but I didn't even realize that, you know, like that was far from my mind. I always Googled to self-diagnose. And then I asked my nurses, like, you know, my online line sister nurses.
Yep.
And after I Google. And so I was like, the first thing when you Google is always say like pregnancy. So I was like, okay, let me just take a test and knock this out the way just in case. And so then I went to get one from like Kroger and I was and
shout out to Kroger.
Right. And I it was positive, long story short. And I was like, this can't be right. So I took the next one and the next one was what I was like, and the next one was positive. So then I was like, let me find the expiration date on this thing. These has to be expired. And so then I think I did it again and it was positive. And so I was like, oh my God. And I whipped out my imaginary brown bag that I had to blow in to compose myself because I was just like, what in the world is going on? And I laid out in the floor. This is all before me preparing to go to work, by the way. And I laid out on the floor and I was just breathing in my bag, trying to get my life in order. Like, what is going on? And is this real? And so, but I just went on my way and I was trying to sort my thoughts and I was just like, what is going on? And so that is basically how. And then shortly after that, well, I went to Spain. We went to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the doctor. I was going to hold it to do like a cutesy, like, guess what? We're pregnant kind of thing with Stan, but I couldn't hold it. And so I ended up just showing him like the sticks and I guess he had to process it, you know, in his own way. But
yeah,
that was that. And just from that point forward, it seemed like time moved like this with, you know, Googling stuff, going to the doctors, trying to find the OB, telling, you know, trying to tell certain people, but, you know, who do you tell? Because then they say like wait 3 months because you just never know. All of that stuff. So just sorting through all of that. It's like, it was basically that.
So I love the straight, short, right to the point about what that was, the imaginary brown bag.
Yes.
I don't have an imaginary brown bag, but I have an imaginary friend that I talk to and I have these thoughts that I'm like, oh my God, what the hell am I supposed to be doing?
Right. That's what I need, an imaginary friend because the
Just
brown
ask for
bag,
it.
right? Because all
Say
these
what you
thoughts
want.
are
You want
going
it to
on
be
in
a
your head.
guy or a male. I mean, a male or female, or
I know. I might have both on hand just in case.
Listen, important.
Right.
So, talking about moving forward, kind of quickly, you told us your initial reactions make
Mm-hmm.
sense, right? When you aren't necessarily family planning, when you get pregnant, but delivery, right? And so we know the stats when it comes to Black women and Black women maternal mortality rate. I ended up going on a CDC because you can still go on a CDC to find really, really good stats about what's going on. Don't let the president fool y'all. But I just got a little bit of stats to help us get into our conversation, right? So we know Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to experience a pregnancy-related death than white women. Also, this was very interesting to me when I saw this. So most Black hospitals, like 75% of Black women give birth at hospitals that serve predominantly Black populations, right? And so, of course, you're like, they have higher rates of maternal complications, but they also perform worse on like 12 of the 15 birth outcomes that you have. And those include elective deliveries, non-elective cesarean births, and then maternal mortality. And so I remember when I had this idea in my mind to do this, you were automatically one of them because I just love your transparency on your story if you read it all, right?
Right.
The gems in it. And I would read them and I would be like, when you had the delivery one and you talked about just being afraid that you never know what's going to happen. And then when you talked about Black doctors and, they tell us we have all these disparities, all these things are against us. Maybe get a Black doctor because they understand and they are going to, empathize with you and they get it. And so I loved how you talked about you have to really figure out what that looks like for yourself. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what was delivery like? What was the appointments like? I mean, also this was COVID. So that's another like double whammy. And so what was that all like? You trying to figure out that thought process in your head of, do I want a Black doctor? Am I having a doctor? I mean, I'm having my birth at a hospital. And just all your thoughts when you first got ready for that.
Initially I set out like Black doctor. I need to look for a Black doctor. And it's hard to look for one in Columbia. You have to go high, low, above, and beyond to find a Black doctor. And then I'm looking at reviews of the office and all of that stuff. And so then I found one downtown Columbia. And I was like, okay, she looks nice. I actually went on her Facebook.
Not that she looks nice.
Right, she looked nice. I read her doctor profile. I went on her Facebook page. I seen if we had mutual friends. I seen the caliber of the mutual friends that we had. Like, I looked up everything about the lady. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went to the doctor. And at this doctor's office, they float you. So you see that person that you initially set the appointment with. And then they float you around to each doctor because you never know who's going to be on call when you deliver. So that was something that was new to me. And
smart, but new.
Right. Which I don't even understand why they can't like book you, but whatever.
That's another thing.
Right. So her initially starting out, she was okay. And I didn't, get like too attached because again, we was floating around. But for the whole entire time, I was like, okay, she's Black. She understands she's a woman. She had braids in her hair at my first appointment. I was like, I was like, she's gonna be the one no matter what. Because at the end, after you float, you can choose. And so what was so interesting, I think, about my pregnancy was that it started out with like just normal, and then we transitioned into this COVID period towards the
Mm-hmm.
end. And so going to the appointments were, like I said, up until then it was normal. And then after that, which I was grateful for because there was no limitations on visitors, and, you know, the father of the child can't visit like how they do now. And so it wasn't any of that. And so we were good to go up until that point. So towards the end was like March when I was ready to give birth in April. And
Mm-hmm.
so towards that time, the doctor that I was going to see, the black doctor, she was pushing towards me being induced.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was something that I really didn't know anything about. It was something that I didn't want because I just wanted to be as natural as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because even when they asked me if I wanted an epidural, I was like, I don't really know. Like, I'm not closed off to it, but if I can do it on my own, then I want to do it that way.
Yeah.
And so then so she's pushing for an induction, and I'm trying to tell her, I'm not comfortable with that. That's not what I want to do. There's no hard. First they said it was because of COVID, they need a plan because of the hospitals, they never know what's going on. Then she transitioned to say it was because of my weight, and that it's unhealthy to carry a baby with that, with my weight, just because
Mm-hmm.
I can develop like preeclampsia, diabetes, high blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure, and all of that. Meanwhile, the entire time, all of my vitals were stellar. I passed every test. The first time with everything, like everything looked well, and I was extremely blessed, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So I started to get frustrated to the point where it was like sometime after the appointment, I was just sit in my car and like have tears going down my eyes and have
Yeah.
to call my sisters to calm me down because I was just so upset because they wasn't listening to me. And then so then I went to another doctor because I was like, at the end of the appointment, they ask you who you want to see. And at a certain point, you get to go in every week. And so, or every 2 weeks, something like that. I can't remember now. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I just want to go to someone else. And so I went to the man doctor that was in there. And so that appointment I told him everything, about why I wouldn't want to. This is, like I'm not closed off to it. If it came down to a health concern and that was the best way to save us, then of course I would do it. But if there's nothing wrong and there's no signs, then I want to try to deliver as natural as possible. And
Yeah.
so he was like, that's fine, like come, you don't have to be induced. We'll set your induction date for, I think, 5 days after I was due, because they say they don't want you to go over because the baby gets bigger, and it's hard to deliver. So I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? Maybe instead of me looking at, this is a black doctor, they automatically know what I want, finding a doctor that meets my needs.
Mm.
I think it was like, I don't know, I was so nervous because, we lost a line sister back in 2019 due to
Mm-hmm.
childbirth, and then another one had some complications after the fact. So, and I'd never been in a hospital before, so I was so nervous, and I just
Mm-hmm.
was like, I thought having that black doctor would make me more comfortable.
That's
When
what they tell us, right?
right, when in fact it was not the case. That wasn't the case at all. And so then when we finally got to the hospital, it was a totally different doctor. So it was 6 doctors, I think, maybe 5 doctors that we seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one doctor that I really didn't care for her. I didn't have any particular reason why I didn't not care for her, but I didn't like, she wasn't my first choice. But she
That's
ended
enough.
up being the perfect doc. Like, it's crazy how it works out because she
Yeah.
was like perfect during the delivery process. She was very patient. She could have, because I was in labor for 26 hours, really. And
Woo.
so, yes. and it took me forever to dilate. And I feel like anybody else with the baby his size would have been pushing for a C-section, which I didn't want either. Would have got, but I didn't want it. And so she was so patient the entire time. The whole nursing staff there, like I was extremely blessed to have to choose that doctor. So that just made me realize that, it's important to find a Black doctor, but it's also important to find somebody that works with you. Like if that Black doctor is not working, don't stick with that person. And because, everybody don't have your true, regardless of skin color, everybody don't have your true, the best intentions for you.
And it's a lot of, racial bias with that too, because now that they know that Black women are getting more educated and we're speaking up on ourselves, it's more like I know what I'm talking about. Like, let me do this. And it's like, no, right. I know what I want. So shout out to you for sticking to what it was that you wanted and needed. And I'm very happy, grateful that you had a very long labor, but that you are safe. Kai is safe.
Yeah.
And you were able to pick that doctor just on intuition.
Right, exactly. And just being an advocate, for myself, and even having a support system that I could vent to that would encourage me to be my advocate. I think that's just an important thing, is just not accepting any old thing that they say to you. Like, no, that's not you. I know you have the degrees and stuff, but I know myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm capable of. And just being that advocate for yourself. And even if you have people around you, because during that time, I'm like, okay, our moms are going to be there, this is going to be just a great experience. I had this whole thing set in my head how it was going to be. And then one doctor's appointment, she was like, due to COVID, they're changing some things around. And she was like, we're only allowing one person in the delivery room with you and no visitors. She's like, but the great thing about it is that, now we're in the age of FaceTime, so you can just FaceTime people. But I didn't want to hear that at the time. I was just like I was hurt because I had this idea in my head the whole time. But even encouraging Stan to be an advocate for me as well. Like, don't just whatever they say, question every single thing they do, just to be vigilant of what they're doing, because, you just never know how it is going to go. And a lot of times, like you say, people as Black women, don't have our best interests at heart. And so they could say, oh, you need this, and it could be totally wrong. Or if I say I'm feeling this way, they're just dismissing it, and that's not okay. So I was like, whatever they do, question it, if I say something, stand up, stand beside me. We have to, because I know my mom, she would automatically do that, to the point where it's like, okay, calm down. So
that's going to move us right along to our next question, because you have a great relationship with your mother. I think your mom is probably one of the funniest people ever. It's the intent in her voice that I love. But what's one Black mama quote or saying that your mom would say to you all the time that you will never forget?
I think my favorite quote that my mom would say, that's always stuck with me through this day, is F them people. Like, forget them. Like, regardless of what anybody says, like, forget them people. They don't matter. You matter. She always built that in me, that confidence and everything that I needed. It's just like, forget them people. You don't need them people. What you need, I'll handle it for you, or whatever the case may be. So I think that was one of the most important things that's always stuck with me. It's just forget them people.
Forget them people. I love that. I love the realness in that, right?
Right. what she
Mama
is.
said, if you need it, I got it. I'll figure it out.
Right, for real. And so I think that's just where I am so appreciative of how I've formed as a woman and as a Black woman.
Yeah. So moving a little bit forward, I mean, you know, your mom, you said you showed pictures on your Instagram of your mom and your mother-in-law, you know, what they call the grandmothers. And so what would you say to your mom, like just about like everything that you've been through? I mean, you said it, building confidence in you, but what would you say to her if you had like a sentence to say to her?
Thank you for helping me become the woman that I am today. Thank you.
And if she's on, tell her, hey, or if she go back and watch it later.
I know she'll probably go back and watch it later because it probably has been taking her this long to figure out how to get on.
All right.
So I'm gonna have to send it to her and then call her and show her how to click on and then watch it. If my sister,
there we go. That makes sense. So I had to write down what you said. Thank you. So Jade, what makes you authentic? What makes you authentic in your Black mama journey, you know? And when you say that word authentic, I think you are, but what makes you think that?
I would have to say, I guess my approach to being a mom. I think it's just I don't want to say my expectation, but yeah, basically like the expectation that everything that I want to pour into him makes me authentic. Like my personality, my experiences, my right from wrongs, things that I learned along the way, things that, you know, my parents and family taught me, friends taught me, stuff that, you know, I want to pick and choose from here. That's what, you know, makes me authentic. It's just learning from other super great moms and people in general. Don't even have to be moms, but people in general.
I was going to say, why do you think it's important to be authentic on that Black mama journey? Because I feel like sometimes we work in silos. If I'm a single Black woman, I can't support a mom because I would never get it. Or a Black mom usually isn't supported by a white mom because they don't understand what it means to be a Black mama. But you said it in terms of just learning from great moms and from great people.
Right, exactly. Because everybody has experiences in what they shared. So, you know, I just want to know, because I want to make him the best individual I could possibly make him. And so tell me the recipe, in a sense.
Yes, tell me the recipe.
Right.
So I wanted to move to Black Mama Joy and what that looks like. I'm going to read it because I loved it. But you said your Black Mama Joy is seeing the light that shines through my son's eyes and feeling electrified by knowing that I am charged with raising an amazing human being and, more importantly, a Black king. So I'm going to put two questions together if this makes sense. So talking about your Black Mama Joy, but also what scares you about being a Black mama, especially in this climate, and raising a Black king that Black is king, FYI.
Right. Which we watched.
I've watched like 3 times. But in this climate, what does that mean for you? Because that's a lot of more pressure on you.
Right. And I think, you know, as far as with the fear, it's kind of like with everything that's surrounding Black men, I think that's partially a fear. It's kind of like, okay, when my son gets older, I don't want him to have to go through it. Like, I don't want him to see the world that we're living in now. You know, I want it to be far from where we are right now. I don't want him to feel like he's a threat or he has to act a certain way or do certain things. I don't want him to feel like, you know, he has to work twice as hard to get on his white counterpart, where his white counterparts are. Like, I don't want him to feel like he has to be nervous and start a video camera when he gets pulled over by the police. I don't, want him to feel like if he wants to wear whatever the trend is, oh, he's going to be labeled a thug. I don't want him to, I just want him to live in his pure blackness and just love every minute of it without the struggle. And so
without
I'm not
the struggle. That was a cute little add-on. That was the add-on.
Right. Because we all live, in our blackness with joy, but it's kind of like without the struggle. And so as far as with my Black mama joy, I think that's it. Just trying to make the best possible world for him is like where I get my joy from. Like I'm excited to raise a child, a kid, an individual, a friend, a son, who will be a friend to others, a nephew, one day a husband, a grandchild. I just want, I have so many high hopes for him. It's like,
and that will transmit to him.
Right. Hopefully, yes. Yes. Thank you.
We're gonna say it well.
Thank you.
But I think that being intentional in that space, right? It's so it makes my heart so happy hearing you.
Thank you. Yes. And there's so many great things in this world. Like, yeah, life can be tough, but there's so many wonderful things to see, like, and so much laughter that we have, especially when you surround yourself with the right people. And so I just want him to experience that. Like, sometimes I'm just like, dang, I am so blessed. Or, like, I love those people, or just laugh until you can hardly breathe and stuff. So that's joy.
No, that's joy. And without the struggle.
Right. That's what we're going to hope for.
That's what we're going to hope for. So what has motherhood taught you about womanhood? Or is it the opposite, right? Or is it womanhood taught you about motherhood?
I think I think it can go both ways. I think as, a woman, you already have these things that's kind of in you for your motherhood. And then motherhood teaches you things about being a woman, as far as like you feel. Honestly, once I had him, I was like, I didn't even think I was capable, like it empowered my motherhood, empowered my womanhood for sure. And then womanhood reinforced my motherhood.
Okay, with these words.
I told you I've been studying.
No, sis, I am happy you prepped for this, sis. Ooh. So wait, let me make sure I got this right. Your motherhood has empowered your womanhood, and your womanhood has reinforced motherhood.
Yes.
Oh, Mike.
Sure, you are so silly, but I feel that 100%. Like that's just what it is. I totally feel it, because I think as a woman, you question these things that, am I capable of doing this? Am I capable of doing that? Even if you feel like you can, but then once you do actually become a mother, you're like, okay, I may be just hanging on by the skin of my chinny chin chin, but I'm getting it done, and so you're able to do those things. And then now it's just like I'm in this place now where eventually I have to find how to balance me as a woman and me as a mom, and just getting back to the things that, I like to do or need to do for myself.
Do you think right now you struggle a little bit with what that looks like? I mean, I'm still a newborn.
Right. Yeah.
Like very new still.
Yeah. I think I do, but I'm like approaching it with patience, just because I know that, once he gets through these certain stages, or like once he sleeps through the night and I'm able to get more rest, and I'm able to slowly but surely start getting back to me. I think this whole thing is like a process, and you just got to have patience and take it as it comes.
I love that. So as a woman, you always question, am I capable? But when you become a mother, I put chinny chin chin, by the way, but you can answer that question for yourself when you're a mom, that I know I can do this because I'm doing it now, and I'm barely making it, but I'm doing it.
Right. And I think having a support system, like I cannot say enough, like a support system is a key. Like I don't know how people that don't have a support system survive. I don't even know if it's possible. But having a support system to reinforce the things you're doing, or even being there for you, or even sending you, like whatever, whoever is showing you, the support that they're showing you, like whatever means it is, it doesn't matter if it's like, something tangible or communication, a prayer, whatever the case may be, like that support system is so important. And I'm appreciative. I can't say enough how much I appreciate my support system.
That support system is very much needed. Yeah, to your point, I don't see how people don't do without a support system.
Exactly. Even from the time I was pregnant to up until now, like just that support, even if when I would worry about things and people would say, don't worry, you got this, or why don't you try this? Like another thing that I started doing towards the end of my pregnancy, I think that helped too, was meditating and the essential oils. I got that from a couple people. It's just help me focus, help me think positive thoughts. Yeah, so doing those things I think help. But getting that, I got that from my support system. I wouldn't have never been able to, do that without them. So just so many different things. But a support system is key for sure.
Yeah, and that's self-care, right?
Right.
That meditation, because that's time with yourself, and you're taking care of your soul, your thoughts.
Exactly.
So that's a little bit of self-care that mama is doing. We kind of answered more questions than I thought we would. But for the people that are on, we can't actually see the comments if you are commenting. So hey y'all, hey. But if you can go to Jade's mama bio, it's the first post on the Choose True page, and just put any takeaways, any of those sayings that you have. I have a couple. I can DM to you all if you need it, but just something that you learned from her or she reaffirmed for you about her story, because I think that's important to let people know we hear their story and we hear those little like gems that we all love, and that we can put that into our own lives. So if you can do that, no rush.
Right.
But that would be great because she can't see any comments.
Which is probably a good thing, because I feel like it's just me and you now, and so it's making me more comfortable.
Oh yeah, I've heard that a lot, that it's just easier instead of seeing comments, or you see on the live on IG, you see people going off and you're like, did I say something wrong?
Right. Or on live, they be like, like what?
Oh my God. So going back to your bio real quick, I want to make sure we're on time. We started a little late, but I think we're good. Being a hopeful woman has made me a versatile mother. What does that mean?
I think being always looking for the positive and, trying to hope for the best, and hope for the best. I'm sorry. See, this is why we shouldn't have comments on the thing. I just got a text and was like,
me
too. Okay. So hoping for the best is like one of the important things as far as being a woman, like always being positive, trying to look for the best in a situation, knowing that better is to come. You can only, if you're here, you can only excel. You can only go better. You can only go up from any situation that you're in. And so, or knowing that's what's thrown your way is for the better for you. And so being hopeful has made me a versatile mother. So I know that, through this situation, um, I'm able to adapt basically, because I think that's what COVID was all about for me. It was a huge blessing in disguise because I was so upset initially. And I hate to, speak on something like a pandemic like this because I know everybody else hasn't had the same experience. But for me, it was like in the beginning, I just had to hope that it was going to work out. Everything I just needed to hope that it was going to work out. And so then I just started adapting here and there to whatever was thrown my way. And now it's just like, it's working out. Like I'm able to work from home until hopefully for the fall semester, and being home with Kai is like a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So just being versatile and accepting that, things might not always go the way you plan, but if you just roll with the punches, it'll work out.
Mm. Can you tell us about the board in your hospital room?
Yes, that board I put together because my wonderful line sister who should be a doula. Also, I want to note, sorry, doulas are hard to find in Colombia. So if anybody is looking to be a doula, they should, because that is a market that is necessary in Colombia. Because I think I only found like 3, and one of them was pregnant. And so, anyway,
you're like, how you gonna take care of me, sis?
Right. You gonna have to take care of yourself. But so she came over one day and I was telling her of all, because I feel like towards the end of your pregnancy, all these all my anxieties. It's like I got this baby. Like I'm taking what if that happens, you have to be like, for me, I was thinking like I may literally die, And so just going through all of those emotions. And so B Warren came over one day and was just like, don't think like that, be positive. You have to think positive thoughts because what you put out, what's the saying?
What you put out to the atmosphere, you get back.
The saying, what you put out or what you right. And started meditating and stuff. And she was like, just meditate on these thoughts. She made me all of these sticky board things like your body was made for this.
Yes.
You're capable. God saw fit. It was just like all these different things. And so I used to meditate on all these thoughts every day. And then I was like, I need this with me. Like, if I'm going to do this, I need this with me. So I just put it all on, put all these thoughts. And every day as I meditate, I would add to it as well, like add to all these, but different little things. And I just put together this board and I took it to the hospital and I would look at it, and read it when I started to doubt myself and doubt what I was capable of. And it worked out until that pain started coming. Then I was like, forget that board. Where's the medicine? But other than that, it worked. It served its purpose for the time being.
And as you were getting ready for pregnancy, also shout out to B wearing public health. I look up to her and the work that she's doing in South Carolina because I think it's really transformative because our Black young girls need a Black woman like her to talk about what's going on with our bodies and what do we need to know. So shout out to her. She was a panelist, a moderator at the last A True Conversation, and she did a great job.
Right.
Very fortunate to know her. So Jade, looks like we are almost done. Wasn't that painless?
And it really was. It wasn't that bad. You know, I was texting you like, it wasn't bad at all. I
I
do want to
told
say
you.
one last thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like for me, it was kind of, I knew about like the fourth trimester, but not really. Just as
Mm.
far as like postpartum and stuff like that. And people talk about postpartum depression, which is important as well. Seek help. But for me, it was the like what your body goes through after. And like, so you're dealing with being a new mom, but you're also dealing with healing, and it's tough. So I would just say, you know, take your time.
Wait, Jade, stop a little bit. There we
That's
go.
why I
Go
made
ahead.
that. Okay. Yeah. So just take your
Take your
time.
time. Yeah.
Be patient with your body. Ask questions. If you have any questions about it, you know, reach out to other people. Reach out to me about it, or anybody, your doctor, whoever you feel comfortable with, about, you know, different things. Sometimes don't really go to the internet because stuff will scare you. Um, but take your time because sometimes I can
It's
sit on
breaking
a.
up a little bit, but not too bad. I can feel like I can still hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I think you frozen on my screen. But that's all I.
Ciao.
Just the fourth trimester is, you know, you got to be patient with it. It's stuff that people don't talk about. And if they do, they talk about it in terms of postpartum depression, which needs to be discussed as well. But just that healing that you have to go through while you're also learning to take care of a newborn. It's tough. Get that rest. If anybody asks you for something, take them up on it, whatever. Did my internet mess up? I think my internet messed up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Ciao. What is going on with this?
I know. Can't. I don't know.
I can hear you.
You
I have no idea. Can you hear me?
were just frozen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. So you were frozen on my end.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Now I hear you perfectly. But to your point, I was going to ask, like, you know, what advice do you have for moms, new moms? And you said it. Take your time with that postpartum. We always talk about postpartum depression, but postpartum is also very important. And your body is still changing and trying to figure out, okay, 9 months, or is it 10 months? Can you hear me?
I think so. Like
Oh,
40 some odd weeks.
40 something
Are
weeks.
you able to hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
But 40 weeks you are, you know, taking care of a baby, carrying a baby, and then
Right.
all of a sudden, boom, you don't. So your body still needs to heal.
Right.
I remember you talking about your edges.
I got them covered up, you see, because I just can't, I'm dropping on them. But yeah, so it's just different things that you go, appetite changes, you know, different hormone types. Like you just have to go to body tells you about. So just reach out to people, talk to people if you have any questions. Be patient with your body. Don't rush into anything. Get your rest. Take people up on offers if they offer to help. Um, yeah, just take your time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm writing this down.
Oh no, you fine.
But thank you for everybody joining. Thanks for being with us with this technical difficulty. I literally have no idea, but I appreciate y'all for staying on, hearing Jade's amazing story, her takeaways, her thoughts. And remember, if you can go on Instagram and post those, that would be great. We have one more Black Authentic Mama episode on Tuesday. So make sure to go check out the ones that are already there, or see you all again at 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Jade, thank you. I'm so proud of you. So it makes my heart smile, you know, the intentions that you have behind being a good mom.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating this space where we can all talk, share our stories, and learn from others throughout the series. So thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hearts.
I know, hearts. And remember, we have planned after COVID our Houston time.
I'm ready.
Right. Me too.
Actually, now that we finished talking about this, I can tell you about my plans now for Houston. So now that we finished talking about this business, we can do that offline. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. Spending Saturday with us. Sunday. Ooh, Sunday.
Okay. Sounds good. Sunday.
I was like Saturday. Wait, let me see.